Welcome back to McElroy and Cubelic in the morning on Jock 94.5. Final hour of the show. A lot that we've gotten to so far. Talked a little bit about eligibility. Talked about Trinidad Chambliss, who had his most recent waiver denied. Talked a little bit about the NFL and their scheduling and how we just need to embrace the fact that we're going to have to coexist. And at some point, we're going to have to look at our calendar and just go head to head. And it's not ideal. Don't want to, but might just have to here, because I don't think pushing the championship back as much as we've pushed it back is in the best interest of our sport long term. I just think it kills a lot of momentum, and I really hope that we can find a way to coexist alongside the NFL. And if we got to go toe-to-toe, we go toe-to-toe. It's not great for either one of us, but maybe there can be a compromise in there some way, somehow. We always appreciate our visits on Thursdays with the coach, Wimp Sanderson, who's brought to us by our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. Coach, how are you today?
Good. Before we get to the basketball game last night and the other games that are going to be played Saturday, let's talk a minute about football. Aguilar, the quarterback at Tennessee, has filed, for extension. He played 2 years in junior college. If this extension were granted, I think we'd have a big-time mess in the future, and maybe right now, of people trying to get back and playing. You're a good one to answer that, I think. You're a quarterback, and, of course, he's wanting to play more. He's wanting to play some more. They put it off, and they put it on a TRO 15 days before they make a decision. Tell our listeners any kind of thoughts you have at all about that.
Well, I think it's a tricky spot. Couple reasons why. One, Tennessee is kind of waiting in the wings, right? Like, I mean, is he going to go? Is he going to be there? Yeah. Is he not going to be there? Like, are we going to have him? Are we not going to have him? So I think it puts the school in a tricky spot because you want to support the kid and you want the kid to come back because that's going to help you with a more veteran option. But you're kind of in no man's land right now. Like, how do we proceed? How do we, we need some answers. We need them soon. We also need him for the kid because the kid is in a scenario right now where it's like he wants to go try his hand in the NFL. Well, if he's in court, is he going to be well prepared to showcase what he might be able to do as he transitions to the next level? Like, there's a lot of angles to that, Coach, and I don't know what's best. I don't know how you can solve it or resolve it without it being a little messy. There's no way. I mean, these things take time. I'm not sure I have the answer for you, to be honest with you.
I don't have the answer to come back at you if you say something. It's going to be very interesting to me if we're not careful with the courts and the lawyers and everything in the world who don't understand. Congress doesn't understand anything. It's a slippery deal. I don't understand it.
It's tricky for sure.
Yeah. The other thing is, and y'all, some of this stuff you've already talked about, I'm sure, but Ty, the quarterback of Alabama, gets supposedly, I'll use that word, $6.5 million to go into NFL, based on what the daddy said, that he felt like that he was going to go high by talking to. That reality didn't come true in the Senior Bowl when they talked to coaches down there. And picking a quarterback's not easy. They didn't feel that his draft was going to be that high. I know that next year there's going to be a lot more people coming out than this year. That doesn't have anything to do with it. But if that $6.5 million is true, and you're the dad, give our listeners your advice.
Well, one, I think Ty made a good decision in a sense that, one, I do think he's going to get drafted a little higher than people realize. Once they kind of dive into the tape and they watch him neck and neck with whoever might be third. I mean, right now, Nussmeier is expected to be the third quarterback off the board. And I think the gap between him and Nussmeier is pretty significant. And that's assuming Trinidad Chambliss doesn't come out. Like, I don't know how it's all going to unfold. But I do think once they dive in on Ty, they're going to really like what they see. As I had to do it. I had to go and watch Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson back to back to back. And preparing for some television I had to do leading up to the quarterfinal matchups, and I was really impressed. Like watching Dante Moore against Ty Simpson, everyone thinks Dante Moore's second overall pick. Watching those two against each other, I think Ty is probably more prepared right now to make that leap, which was wise for Dante Moore to come back. And why I think it's wise for Ty to go. I also think Ty really values his legacy at Alabama. And it would be tarnished if he played somewhere else. I mean, it's just the reality. It's not a negative. If he had gone somewhere else, I don't think, it's not that he wouldn't be welcome back at Alabama. He'd probably be welcome, but I do think that that's a thing. I do think that some guys really care about that. I think it's a mature decision to acknowledge the long-term nature of the decisions that you're making right now as a 21, 22-year-old kid.
Yeah. Well, based on Miami getting somebody and getting to the national final game based on a quarterback they got, they feel good like maybe they're a little bit smarter than some other people, and they may be. So I don't know. Anyway, those two football questions I wanted halfway answered for me, and you did a good job. The game last night is a heck of a game. A&M doesn't look like a great basketball team, but they're well coached.
Yeah, they are.
When you play a full court, and I've tried to say this, I think maybe on your show, and you press after Maids. Well, a lot of people press after Maids because the ball goes out of bounds for you to throw it in. But when you're able to press out of misses, it becomes a little bit different arena than you have seen in your practice sessions. And what you try to do is, if you're able, and they got the ball in the big kids at Alabama's hands a couple of times, when the big post people try to bring it down, then they overplay everybody else on the court, where it's the big post man's job to get the ball across the 10-second line. And in some games at home, especially, that doesn't work, and they turn the ball over, and A&M gets a bucket out of it. And so they're very smart. And what Bucky does a good job. He handles his team well. He plays a lot of people. Alabama did a good job also in coming back from, a pretty bad loss at Florida, and the game came down. 3 points, three threes was the difference. I thought Alabama shot it well from the corners. The rebound, of course, was in Alabama's favor and should have been. The Iaco thing really didn't enter into it very much. The kid from Alabama came back and played and got 17 points. So I say all that to say that very interesting basketball this weekend. Alabama goes to Auburn. That will be a fiasco as far as the crowd is concerned. The crowd can't score, but they can help you score. Should be a good game. Auburn is good, better defensively, but they're going to have to guard the three to beat Alabama, I think. And they're going to have to rebound with them. We'll see what happens there. And then the two teams that are 7-2 in the league play each other. And Florida goes to A&M. My son says, Florida will beat them at A&M. I'm not positive they will. I don't know what the line's going to be. The line yesterday was 7.5, and all the Alabama people who bet on Alabama are looking for money now. They lost there. So, heck of a game last night. I went and I thought A&M played hard. I thought Alabama played hard. It came down to the last part of the game, and a couple of easy shots for Alabama went in, and heck of a game. Any comments by your callers on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the game last night.
We're good.
It was great. It was awesome. Really a great environment for a midweek game. It was awesome. But I am curious, and I said this earlier in the show. We did it in the first segment. I'm amazed. I completely agree with you. Watching A&M yesterday, on the hoof, just looking at the bodies that they had. Like when we went to the Tennessee-Alabama game, I've seen Alabama a million times, so nothing about Bama's size, surprises me. I kind of know. I've seen them. I've been to the game. I've seen them up close. when I saw Tennessee, I'm like, goodness gracious, man, that team looks the part. You know what I mean? Like, they just look the part. They are really long and athletic, and they're big, and they look physically mature. When I looked at A&M last night, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I can't believe this team's 7-1 in the league. You know what I mean? They got a couple guards that I'm telling you, they can't be over 6 foot. They can't be. There's no way. They play so hard, and they're so well coached.
Yeah.
They do have number 4, who I was shocked looking at the stats this morning, that he only averages like 5 points a game. That dude had to have had 5 dunks off pick and roll alley-oops last night.
Yeah.
And he had a couple good looks from 3, hit one of them. Like, that kid's good. But he's about the only one where it's like, oh, man, that guy looks the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 12 also put together. I don't think he's quite 6'7", is what he's listed at. I'd say he's probably about 6'5", but he's big and physical, and he kind of reminds me of the guy that we had last year that was a great player, Diabate. Like, he kind of reminded me of him a little bit. Just physical and probably a little more offensive game than Diabate. But I look at their style coach and the way that you could call a moving screen on them almost every time. The way they're coaching the pick and roll. I'm not like a basketball XO expert. I was just fascinated by this. Like, they do the pick and roll, and the big guy that's setting the screen continues walking towards the basket, and the ball handler is kind of trailing him and gets an easy, uncontested look from about 8 feet over and over and over again. Why is it that there aren't more teams coaching that specific technique when it comes to the pick and roll?
Well, they go against the roll man so fast that the guy with the ball has the opening there to get it down and deep. Now, a couple of times A&M shot it short, even a little shot like that, they shot it short. But sometimes that guy with the basketball will get it down deep because he go back so much for the roll, and it doesn't occur real well. Alabama, they switched it some on A&M side. They switched it some. The teams that have beaten Alabama, Duke has beaten Alabama by switching some when they put it in play. Of course, Duke had a good team, but I think that's the case. They get pretty deep with the basketball on the dribble because they take care of the roll man, and they don't do a good job of getting to the dribbler as well. So the thing against the Alabamas and against the A&Ms, that you have to defend the dribbler. If you don't defend the dribbler, and I've said this on your show a lot, and somebody has to come over from the side and help because you're fixing to get beat, that's where the three kills you. And so you've got it when you go to your team and you're getting ready to play, that you emphasize, if you're not going to defend the dribbler, then get ready to come out, because I'm not playing you. We've got to all play this thing together, and that's so darn critical. If for some reason you're like A&M and you're not going to beat Alabama on the boards, or you're not going to beat Florida on the boards, yes, you try to pull it off the boards. But if you can't pull it off the boards, you knock it out. You knock it out of there. Now, the missed free throw, they knocked it out for a 3-point shot to tie the game and Alabama was smart to foul. If you're 3 down, the best thing to do is foul and send the other team to the line. Your percentages are much better if you do that. And there's no doubt about that. You could lose out on that. They could put one back in and hurt you. But he made the first one, I think, or whatever he did, and missed the second, and they kicked it back out. And Riley Griffin didn't make the shot. He made 17 points, but he didn't make the shot. So all those little things there are, A&M goes backdoor well and gets the basketball back there. So, you've got to, also with the officials, I think you need, and Nate, I don't talk to Nate about this. I don't talk to anybody about it. I just did it different. I jumped on them when they passed it. When they passed our bench, I jumped on to some extent. Or I tried to say something funny. Not funny, but cute or smart when they came off there, because I didn't, they claim that, Wimp's always getting a tackle. I never got one. The word is almost. I almost got a bunch, but I never got them.
You really never got a technical?
No, I got very few.
Very few.
And I'll tell you something. I have very, very few. I mean, people thought I got one all the time. The funny part about it, and you're so young, I don't know what to talk to you about things. But Bobby Knight was the guy who threw a chair, who did everything in the world, and dog custom. And Bobby Knight was a great coach at Indiana. I coached a long time. I got kicked out of one game when I played Bobby Knight. When I played Indiana in Indianapolis, I got kicked out of the game.
It happens.
And, yeah, it happens. Not much. Ole Miss came after him on the floor the other night and got kicked out of the game against Tennessee. But I got kicked out of the game there, and I saw those coaches, and they leaned toward Bobby. It wasn't no doubt about it. Playing in Indianapolis against Bobby Knight, you can kiss it goodbye. You ain't gonna win. Anyway, those are things I want to think about. I brought to you about Piggly Wiggly, and Piggly Wiggly and Coke are great. Piggly Wiggly is great people. I'm supposed to eat lunch with Stanley Vasilio today, who he and Andy run Piggly Wiggly, and they've done a great job. And if you walk in there, you'll get anything you want, grocery-wise, anyway, meat-wise or anything. Coke's a great product. So appreciate you having me on. And
I got one more for you, Coach. Before,
okay, sure.
If you don't mind,
I'll be sure. I don't care.
I also found it interesting yesterday how much A&M relied on just shooting mid-range jumpers and short, high percentage twos. I feel like the game has been moving away from that. Are we at a point where maybe relying so much on the three is kind of run its course, and maybe we're going to get back to more of a mid-range game in basketball moving forward?
Maybe a little bit. Not if your belief is that way, and Nate's belief is the other way.
Right.
Yeah, you have to understand. That if you go back to the Florida game, I'm not knocking anything about the Florida game. It's hard to win. But Florida wore them out inside with twos. Alabama in that particular game, and get this one, makes 33 more points from the three, and gets beat by 23. So, that's a pretty good number to think about.
Yeah.
Get beat by 23 and score 33 more. So the two for some teams, and especially off the boards, the cheap basket off the boards, the offensive rebound, as you know, basketball guy, the offensive rebounds are so critical. The putbacks there. Now you have a lot of long rebounds because a lot of people shoot. Sometimes your team's shooting threes and it goes a long way. But the offensive boards are so darn big for you. And cheap baskets. For example, Florida threw the lob pass past the 10-second line in one pass. On the second pass, Florida was at the basket dunking it. So defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, you talk about people just kind of slide by and don't think about them. But, boy, the defensive rebounds, start your break, make your break good, get easy shots. You take those easy shots if you can get them, and then you work your fanny off to get as many threes as you can. And Nate's done a great job at Alabama and does a terrific job coaching his team. So I'm very careful about getting on here and trying to coach.
Oh no, you're not. I think it's just philosophies. It's just different. I'm just curious. Yeah. I don't prefer one style. I think it's just different philosophies. No different than a team in football that wants to run tempo and another team that wants to slow it down. Doesn't make one right or wrong. It's just different philosophies. I was just interested in it last night. It was the most I've seen a team rely on short mid-range game in a long time. I feel like.
Yeah, they the Florida game and the A&M game, A&M just doesn't have the people that Florida has. They're gonna knock you down.
No,
they got to get the easy shot off the dribble. They got to go to the back. If your defensive guy is over the side and guarding you, and he turns his head towards the ball, and you go back door as the offensive guy and lays it in, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason that head of yours. It's kind of like playing golf. You got to keep your head where you need to. You turn that head too much, and you look at the ball, and don't do a good job of defending your man. Back door he goes, and layup he goes. So those are the things that happen in the game of basketball that people. And I think sometimes when I did the games I got to do a lot of games on television when I was younger. They don't let me do it anymore. But I think sometimes that grandmother sitting in the chair that really doesn't understand basketball, that you can explain it a little bit easier to somebody like that, or that granddad, that sometimes they just don't understand what's going on. I think sometimes they did a good job last night.
I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be
game.
honest with you. I watch basketball as a fan. Like I don't know the intricacies. I know there's so much more going on than I'll ever understand. But I was really watching schematically last night, more than I ever do. Usually I just feel the flow of the game, and I'm a fan. I'm just rooting for my team.
Yeah.
But I was really trying to watch, because that was my first takeaway. Was like, I'm very underwhelmed by how A&M looks from a size standpoint.
Yeah.
I was blown away
That's right.
at this team being 7-1 in the SEC. Like, if you were to take the jerseys off and put Tennessee out there against A&M, I would have said Tennessee would beat that team by 30. Like, just take the jerseys off and just look at the personnel. And
they went overtime.
And Texas too. You know what I mean? It's like that's why I'm so impressed by Bucky McMillan.
Well,
I'm so impressed with how he got that team to where they're at.
I think it's been 20. I think I'm right. It's been 20 years since A&M has beaten Texas. I believe that, even at A&M, I believe that's right. But anyway, it's a big number. And A&M is a team that you look at, and I was laughing when I said something to my son about it. I said, "What's the line?" He said, 7.5. I said, "Whew. I'll tell you one thing, those people that love Alabama better be careful." That's all I said.
They're good, man. They are really well coached. It was fun to watch last night.
They are hard. And I'll tell you the other thing too is he handles them well. And you look at the way it coaches, and Nate does too. He handles them well in the timeout, which is darn important.
Yeah, they always. I feel like out of a timeout, they got a couple. They always got a pretty good look. I mean, it's like I wasn't keeping track of that, but I mean, they're getting some type of look, and it's impressive. I always tell with coaches, like, to me, knowing as little I know about basketball, the guys that get good looks coming out of a timeout, I'm always so impressed by that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sometimes you come out and you'll change defenses. You might go to something most teams don't, but sometimes you'll come out and change defenses and really affect you. Your point guard backs it out, trying to figure out what you're going to do, because most of the time when you break it, good and well defensively they're going to set up somebody to do something, and pretty much you looked at what they do in the past games, and then you're ready for that pretty much, and maybe they change on you again, but you know who they'd like to go to, and so. Good game. Crowd was slow getting there last night. I think it wasn't as big a crowd normally as it is, but it was a little bit slow getting there. I know 6 o'clock is hard to get to. Anyway, I enjoyed my talk with you, and I'll talk to you next week.
Always fun, Coach. Appreciate the time, and you're always brought to us by Coke and Piggly Wiggly. Excellent stuff from the coach, Wimp Sanderson. As always, we see you on hold. We are coming to you. 800-239-9569. We look forward to entertaining your phone calls here in just a moment. Before we do, I'm going to tell you about my friends at Bill Smith. Bill Smith Buick GMC are just terrific. Absolutely terrific. Always so appreciative of the experience I have, whether it's getting my car serviced, getting everything taken care of, that my wife's car is currently getting serviced right now. They're always taking great care of us. And we bought both those vehicles from Bill Smith because we get a better deal. I mean, the deals that you'll find there are off the charts. The volume, the amount of vehicles they sell is ridiculous. That's why they can give you the best price, a price that nobody else in the area can possibly match. So just take the short drive up to Coleman, I-65, exit 310, Highway 31. It's a short drive, could save up to $15,000 off a vehicle. A GMC Sierra 1500 SLT, really nice trim level. Normally you're paying around $67,000. Well, at Bill Smith, you get it for $52 and change. It's deals like that that keep people coming back. That's why 75% of their business is repeat customers. That's because you have a better experience when you shop with Bill Smith. Take the short drive to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online. Have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com. All right, we see you on hold. We're coming to you. And there is also this, I don't want to call it an innovation because I don't feel like it's an innovation, but it's something that could be very fascinating as it relates to a sport that I personally love and how it could kind of change the game. I'll explain what it is here in just a bit, but we'll take your phone calls as well. 800-239-9569. We'll do it next on Mac and Cube. McElroy Cubelic in the morning on Jock 94.5. Just 30 minutes remaining before we hand it over to three-man front. Let's go to London, who's in Georgia. London, how are you?
Hey, Greg. How you doing, man?
Excellent, man. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I wanted to hit on a subject you were talking about earlier in the show. I was watching it on YouTube. I love the guy's show every day. I watch it. I've played football my whole life. I played 1 year in college. And I just don't get how in college football, how in the quarterfinals, we have such a long layoff. And I know as a player, it's all about routine. And if you get out of your routine as a player, you're like, I think the quarterfinals for the teams that have that long layoff, you don't see that in any other sport. And I just think it's almost like playing week one all over again. I just don't really see. I'm a big Georgia fan, and I've just, regardless of my fandom, I've always had a problem with the layoff. And I know the NFL that they don't do that. It's like they get wild card week start and there's not even a layoff, and then if you're one of the top seeds, you get 2 weeks off, kind of like normal. I've just had an issue with that in college football and how teams are rewarded by having a long layoff, when that can actually benefit you with injuries and stuff. But I think once a player gets out of the routine, especially a team gets out of routine, I think that hurts you more than most. I mean, what is the stat? 1-7 besides Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think the routine is really valuable. And momentum, too. Like, you stay hot. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but, like, if you're playing at a high level, like, carrying it over week to week can absolutely be attained, for sure.
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
confidence.
And I just feel like, yeah. And it's like, as a player, I mean, when you're in a groove, and, like, take Georgia. I mean, I'm just going to use Georgia because I'm a Georgia fan, but take Georgia in the SEC championship. They look like they couldn't be stopped. They look like kind of reminiscing of the old Georgia.
Right.
From 2021, 2022. And then, they get into the game with Ole Miss. I mean, Gunner didn't look kind of the same, anything, I mean, give all the credit to Ole Miss, and Trinidad Chambliss played like Johnny Manziel in that game. But I just think as a player, I've played football long enough to know that, if you get out of a rhythm and get out of your routine, you have a long layoff, that's really going to affect the whole team. I mean, it's like playing a week one game. And Greg, I'm sure you know that from playing in Alabama and going to the NFL, but I don't see how. I think college football's really got to change that. I don't know how they would do that. I think you mentioned, going against the NFL, they're trying to avoid that. But I just think it's not fair for the teams that do really well in the regular season, win their conference championship, and end up getting bounced in the quarterfinals because, I mean, it is like playing week one. I mean, I remember playing, and if we had a long layoff, it was like, we're doing uncharacteristic things. I just think we need to clean that up and somehow find a resolution to, just get, kind of copy the NFL model. I mean, you don't see NFL teams going with long layoffs. They're going straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, buddy. I appreciate the call. I don't disagree. Like, I really want us to, at some point, look at the way that we're doing the postseason. Like, the NFL is the gold standard. They do everything really, really well. And we have long moved things around, and we wanted to preserve bowl games, and we want bowl games to still be a big part of our culture. Like, we absolutely want that. But we do need to, I think, at some point say, all right, let's play on the second Saturday of December, play that first round then. Play the second round the Saturday after that. Take a break over Christmas, and then play our semifinal games on the first, which would be incredible. Back-to-back double headers. Rose Bowl has one every year. Rotate the other one around. Back-to-back, and then you play the championship the first week of January. Like, that to me is ideal.
It's right there. It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It's just the big issue is preserving bowl games, which I understand that. I get that. Play the bowl games in the midweek. That's fine. Like, we can figure that out. We'll make it work. But we also are going to have to probably go head-to-head against the NFL, which is less than desirable. The NFL crushed us this past year. Now, part of that, I think, had to do with the fact that you had James Madison and Tulane in the games that were going head-to-head with the NFL. If you put A&M Miami up against the NFL, if you put Bama Oklahoma up against the NFL on a Saturday, would the rating have been as much of a dip? I don't know. I really don't know. I, for one, am part of the contingent that was watching the bowl game between BYU and Georgia Tech instead of an NFL regular season game in Week 16. That's me. I'm not saying that's everybody. I just don't care about watching Week 16 NFL games. I am a college football fan. Am I in the majority? No, I'm not. Most people are going to prefer to watch the NFL. I get that. That's the big city. They're going to lean towards NFL. But there's a lot of people, I think, that would prefer to watch college too. They would say, I want to watch a college playoff game as opposed to a Week 16 NFL game. Now, there's fantasy playoffs and all this other stuff. Like, I understand that the NFL's a juggernaut. No one's denying that. But I think we have enough people that would prefer to watch a college football playoff game over an NFL regular season game. I think there's enough. I don't think there's a ton. I think there's enough. And I hope that at some point we get to the point where we just say we just got to go head to head. And it's going to stink, and I don't want to do it. And I hope the NFL would maybe adapt to accommodate us, considering we're trying to build stars for them. I don't see that happening, but it's wishful thinking, I suppose.
You said before that if college goes head-to-head with the NFL, that they would get crushed, and I don't disagree with that.
Yes.
But the NFL wouldn't walk away unscathed.
We'd take a little bit of a bite out of it.
Yeah. They'll know they were in a fight.
Yes.
We know that they would win, but they would not walk away intact.
No. They would win. But guess what? The NBA, which has viewership that is far below what we have in college football, it takes a little bit of a bite out of the NFL on Christmas Day.
Yep.
Like, imagine us putting a playoff game against a Week 16 NFL game. I think we got a chance. I'm not saying it's a great chance. We got a chance. They'd feel us a little bit. I think they would.
We would leave a mark.
And if you continue to build, which we need to do, if you continue to build, then maybe in 10 years, when we've brought more fans in, then we can get back to doing things that way. And right now we're attracting a real good casual audience. More and more people are coming to the college game because we finally have a postseason format that people understand, which is beneficial. So maybe we're grabbing those people, they're sticking around, and maybe in 10 years, we go back to the drawing board and we say, all right, we're going to have to go in December. We're going to have to play head-to-head against the league. The shield, if you will. I'll tell you what's a shield at the house is knowing that everything in our foundation's taken care of. And lucky for us, we have Canty Foundation specialists here in the area to get that taken care of. Like, we know that there's going to be some wet months ahead. We know there's going to be some rain here in Alabama, and you might, at some point here in the next few months, discover some leaks in your basement, in your foundation, your crawl space. Is the basement damp? Is it musty? Water intrusion can lead to foundation damage. It can lead to mold. It can lead to allergies. It can even ruin things that are in your basement. It's unhealthy for you and your family. Canty Foundation specialists can help. They're the experts in basement waterproofing. So they'll come out, they'll do a free inspection, they'll check for water damage, and any other foundational issues that you might have at your home. So go and take a peek, make sure that everything is good. And if it's not, make the phone call. 205-509-3991. Canty Foundation specialists, their estimates are free, their inspections are free, and their work is backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. So 205-509-3991, or you can go online, Canty, C-A-N-T-E-Y, Can Fix It. That's Canty, canfixit.com. All right, when we come back, I'll tell you about a really, really neat, I guess you could call it an invention. I don't know if it's an invention. Something that's really cool. It's going to change the experience for a lot of people in a certain part of the country. But is it actually good for the sport? I'll explain it next on Mac and Q. McElroy Cubelic in the morning, just 18 minutes remaining. Still a lot to get to. Need to hustle. UAB on the hardwood tonight. I think I might go.
Really?
I might go tonight, back to back. Hooped it up last night. Might hoop it up again tonight. Go over to Bartow. What do we got going on tonight, John?
Tonight, 8 o'clock. I know it's asking a lot, but it's still going to be a good game. I think the adrenaline-ness of the greatness of the game
Adrenality.
should be able to keep you awake and whatnot.
Yes, no doubt.
But UAB is hosting the biggest basketball game of the year at Bartow tonight when they take on the Memphis Tigers for the Battle of the Bones. Tickets are available right now at UABsports.com. That's UAB Memphis tonight, and will be a gold out at Bartow, so make sure you gear up in gold, and the first 5,000 fans will get a free gold rally towel. That's UAB Memphis tonight, Bartow Arena, 8 o'clock. Get your tickets right now at UABsports.com.
I think I might go tonight.
I think Cole said he was at least trying to go for the first half.
Yeah, but like I said, 9:30 hard out. But I'm in.
You can listen to it on the way home. Listen to David Crane on Jocks too.
There you go.
If that need be, but at least you'll get in to at least be there and be seen.
Will Landrum be involved tonight?
No, because he absconded to Colorado like a true Blazer fan. When
True
you can
Blazer.
hear for the
A real Blazerman. All right, so there's this cool thing that came across my email the last couple days. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. When I say the word Megalodome Golf, what comes to mind?
Wasn't that one of the Power Rangers, Megalodome?
That's what I think that, yes.
Yeah.
Megalodon is a shark.
Oh, okay.
Well, Megalodome Golf, the next revolution. Now, for those that have been listening to the show, you guys know I'm an avid golfer. I love to play golf. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm not very good, but I do enjoy it. It's terrific. It's a great game. And part of what makes it so appealing to me is being outside and being in nature, if you will. Manicured nature, I suppose. But I just love being outside. I love playing. I love walking. I love being disconnected from the world for 3.5 to 4 hours. I love it. I love to stay engaged. Do have my phone, but part of what I appreciate about golf is just the conversation that you have walking from one shot to the next and being outside in the elements. Part of what makes golf really fun is you're playing against grass, you're playing against water, you're playing against sand, you're playing against trees, you're playing against wind. You're factoring in all these variables on every single shot. What does my lie look like? What is the wind doing? Is it hurting? Is it helping? Is it right to left? Is it left to right? That could maybe determine my shot shape if I'm a really good player. Well, Megalodome Golf is trying to become the world's first real indoor golf experience. What they are proposing right now is they do a $50 million capital raise. I think they'll get it, by the way. Their plan is to basically build 3 gigantic indoor facilities. Sounding like it's going to be in Chicago. That's where they want to plan it, but I would imagine this will expand well beyond Chicago at some point. And they are taking a golf course and building it inside. Their plan is for 6 par 3s, 3 par 4s, possible executive golf course, which is a little smaller, shorter, par 30, 9-hole experience. To me, it sounds awesome. Like, okay, so I can now play golf year-round. I don't have to worry about the elements. I don't have to worry about rain or possible washout, or if you're in the north, I don't have to worry about freeze-outs. My course won't close. Like, all this stuff is beneficial if you are in a place that has a lot of challenging weather. You also have optimal growing conditions, I guess. I don't even know how you grow grass inside. I'm sure they've figure that out. Maybe they're going to turf it. It doesn't say.
That seems smart.
Turfing it does seem smart, but I digress. But then I start to think, I'm like, isn't this kind of ruining golf? It's awesome. Like, I see and understand all the positives. I understand very much being able to play year round. I understand and being able to go and not be worried about what the forecast looks like. Being able to plan in advance doesn't matter. Nothing's prohibitive about going and playing golf in a Megalodome golf course. But 75% of the fun in playing golf is playing it with your friends outside, walking and enjoying and getting some fresh air. How do we feel about this, John? I'm very torn.
I get where you're coming from, and I wouldn't be surprised if a similar conversation happened however many years or so ago when baseball stadiums started to get ceilings and domes and whatnot. Minnesota, I guess it kind of makes sense because they have snow up there when it first, all right, those I kind of get, but baseball, not unlike golf, is that spring, summertime sport that's outside. It's supposed to feel the sun on you.
Correct.
A beautiful day, and I fully get that. But also, especially around here, it gets hot at that time.
It does.
And while it's great being out with the boys, walking the links on like that, there's a reason we have golf carts with the hood on and have the cart girl out. Like, it gets hot out there.
It does.
So there are times that, yeah, it would be nice to have all of this, but indoors. I see why you're conflicted because
very conflicted.
It takes away from the spirit of the sport, but then again, also one that's created over in Scotland, Ireland, where it ain't ever above 50 degrees and always kind of dreary. So they really didn't have to worry about the elements, but that is a good aspect of it. But also, I don't play a lot of golf, but I think part of me would rather have access to it year round than the greatness of the maybe 2 months out the year when the weather's perfect to have that experience.
Fair. All that is totally fair. Like, I totally get the upside, but I'm very much like, golf is a traditionalist sport. Like, the elements are a big part of playing the game. Like, you're battling the course itself, and the course and the weather is what makes that battle intriguing in some cases. Like, having perfect, ideal conditions all the time is not golf. Like, having perfect weather, no wind, perfect grass, perfect everything is not golf. If we can do that, I can just play on a simulator. I can just hit into the simulator. And even the simulator will have wind conditions that are in the simulator. I'm struggling with this, clearly, as you can tell.
It's weird because while I see the struggle and I appreciate that, but then again, we don't go as hard for it in terms of like football and the Super Bowl.
True.
Because there was a lot of worry and somewhat complaints when the Super Bowl was in New York.
Correct.
About a decade or so ago.
And it was snowing.
And they lucked out. The game itself, for some reason, didn't have snow. Like the 24 hours before and after, they got hit with it. But somehow they missed out. But could you imagine, especially the way that game went, if it would have been in the elements? I'm like, oh, it's got to be in Miami from here on out, in New Orleans or something. And there's a part of us, even the SEC championship game, like that, I know capacity-wise it wouldn't, but why not play it in Bobby Dodd if you want to be out in the elements, you want to be true to football and put your hand in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be on the elements, but then it's like, well, to make sure we get two teams at their best, let's have ideal conditions and see who would win.
It's true. That's why I'm conflicted on it. I'm curious your thoughts. Megalodome golf. Are you going to invest, John?
Probably not.
You're going to resist writing a check for it.
I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, if they need $20 from me, I'm willing to chip in $5.
I'm good for 20. I'm good for $20. That's it, though. No mas. All right, when we come back, put a bow on the show. Tell you what's coming up tomorrow on Mac and Q. McElroy Cubelic in the morning on Jock 94.5. Crocker Movers is a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. They did a whole home pack to move your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. These guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingService.com. It's CrockerMovingService.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move. Megalodome Golf. I think we're out. I think that after 3 minutes of just thinking about it, I think I'm out.
I think that's it's like Vegas to me. Lovely place to visit. Wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I want a round to say, okay, this is kind of cool. All right.
I'd play it once.
Yeah.
I'd play it once.
You did it right.
Just to say I did it. Played indoor golf. I did watch a video, though, that in the video, it sounds like the roof is only 110 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
I hit some high shots.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's going to be enough for me. I don't know if that's going to be enough for him. I don't know. I haven't been on TrackMan recently. I don't know what the launch angle looks like, but I'm going to have to bring it down a notch, I think, if I want to play Megalodome golf. Appreciate Wimp Sanderson for joining us today. Appreciate John Saber for being a part of the show today. Big part of the show today. You had a lot to do today. Are you tired? You going to take a nap now?
No, I've still got a good bit to do. I got to cover Damian's slack since he's not here.
Goodness gracious, Damian. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be in Tuscaloosa. Cole will be here, and it's one of my favorite shows of the entire year. It's when we really go all ball on the NFL. We don't do it often. We do it some, but not often. And I'm very much looking forward to diving in. Seahawks are playing against the Patriots. We'll break it down in every possible way tomorrow. Tell you what's going to win it, what's going to determine it, some of the keys. So it should be a very, very fun day. We will toss it over to Three Man Front. They're next. Have a great day, everybody.